thank you so much for coming on. How are you doing today?
Oh, thank you. You're welcome. I'm doing great. How about yourself, Sam?
I'm doing really, really well. Thank you for asking. So, Jeff, we love to kind of get to know our traders a little bit better, and we always kick off these interviews with pretty much the same question, which is kind of let us know a little bit about you as a person. Is trading your full-time job, for example, or do you have like a day job outside?
Great questions. Yeah, it is not actually. So it is something I'm interested in, passionate about. Have been interested in a long time. I've always been in the finance industry. I worked for Goldman Sachs for about 10 years, not as a trader, but in other areas, more in IT, business analysis, fund reporting, things like that.
Sure.
And so I was always interested in the trading aspect of it. So just kind of picked that up on my own over the years. And now with the prop firm industry popping up recently, it's made it a lot more accessible.
Amazing. I mean, Goldman Sachs, what an employer to have on your resume, right?
That was a good one, yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, I got to do a little international travel with that. I worked in the Tokyo office for about 5 years and the Paris office for 3 years after that. So.
That's amazing. That's really, really awesome. And was it when you were working at Goldman's that you kind of sparked your interest into trading, or was trading something you kind of always dabbled with?
Probably always a little bit, just and that's why I even pursued Goldman as well. But yeah, it's always been there in the background. It was a lot more restricted actually while I was at Goldman. You have to clear a lot of trades with them first. You can't just do anything on your own. So actually, I had to kind of give that a backseat for a while and then get back to it afterwards.
Incredible. Yeah, no, I can imagine. So when is it when you kind of really knuckle down with trading? How long ago roughly was that?
Not in the Forex markets, but in other areas in general, I'd say probably about 5 years. 5 years ago.
Nice. And did you start with like stocks or options or?
Yes, yeah, in that area. So
yeah.
Either stocks or some option plays, and then knew that Forex was there in the background and wanted to get back to that in some capacity.
Nice. So obviously, coming from that kind of background of, trading stocks and options and then jumping to Forex, did you find that was quite a change for you, or were there many kind of transferable skills, so to speak, jumping into Forex?
It required some learning, right? I needed to do a lot of, not courses, but watching, doing some training, some videos, I think some of them that Hola Prime has are actually pretty useful too, but things like that to help kind of understand different strategies, how the different instruments may be different from each other, things like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What kind of instruments do you tend to trade today? What's your favorite one? What's your go-to instrument?
Right now, gold, just the XAU USD. But the secondary would be probably the UJ, so the Japanese yen.
Yeah. No, incredible. So you like the quite the volatile instruments then?
Yes.
So it keeps you quite, it keeps it quite exciting, especially gold. I mean, in recent times, gold has rallied like crazy in the last, I don't know, month or so.
Well. And even today, so there are even gaps today. So the gaps are a bit exciting there too. So you have to keep your eye on that one. It's pretty volatile.
Definitely. Well, that's really awesome. What kind of trader would you call yourself? Would you say you're more of a swing trader, day trader, scalper?
I would say more of a longer term scalper. I would say more of in the day trading range. So I'm looking for, easier setups, not doing very frequent, plays per day. It's like look for one good setup for the day and let that play out. If it starts to go the wrong way in a shorter amount of time, it may stop out soon. But that's all. I'm not looking at something I have to monitor and look for multiple setups per day. Because like I said, it's actually not my full-time thing. I'm also in the finance and product management, industry. And so I'm looking for a setup I can just put in there, let it go, and check on it later, and hope that my stops are good.
Absolutely, and that's the smart way to play it, I think. Especially if you have a full-time job as well. Do you feel that, say for example, you were to quit your full-time job today, how do you think that would affect your trading?
Well, at least it's accessible. It's something I could jump into and try to ramp up. I think I would probably just go for more accounts, not necessarily more frequent plays within an account. I'd probably go with different, one instrument per account. I like to be focused on that. But I think I would start to ramp that up in the volume wise, like have 2 or 3 instruments I would go to. And because I think if I had it, 300K accounts would probably be sufficient.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, with 300K, the fact that you've done total about 13% profit on a 100K account, how much of a time frame are we talking here? Since you started with Hola Prime?
I think it was I believe just in August.
Oh, okay.
I think late August, I think, is when I think I had my first payout from a funded account.
So we're talking a little over 2 months, and you've done 13%.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you're smashing it. Even if you average 5% a month with a 300K capital, yeah, I think you'd be happy with that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'd be all right.
Definitely. Jeff, I would love to kind of get to know your strategy a little bit. Is it possible you could share your charts and show the viewers what you would look for on a typical kind of day trading?
Yeah, I can do that. Let me jump in here. Screen. I have multiple monitors, of course. Let me find the right one.
A true trader.
Yeah. Okay. I only have 3 though. I don't have
3's enough.
As many as some others.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
So a little bit zoomed in. Actually, you still see my setup from earlier today in here at the moment. But usually I like to keep it simple, like I was talking about using the super trend indicator. So I think probably some people are pretty familiar with that one. It's pretty standard. It'll tell you when you're looking for decent sell entries versus buy entries.
Yep.
And that's really all I'm doing. I look at it at the beginning of the day, figure out your highs and lows, look at your trends here. You can see, was this one? So this one I drew some tops. It doesn't have to be that 100% accurate, just basic trend here. And I knew I was going to put it in somewhere in the morning, looking for somewhere in the buy zone here. And it was around 12:30, I think, on UTC time. Let me see. Yeah, we had 3 ups, a down, went back up again. That's usually what I'm looking for. And in this case, it kept going the right direction.
Yeah.
Up just a little bit, enough to hit, I think, what was this? Around a 1% gain on it. But that doesn't always, go in the right direction. I think there was one just the day before. I don't have the lines up here anymore, but I think it was in this range where it just stayed sideways a bit.
Yeah.
It was in this buy zone, but it actually ended up stopping out.
Gotcha. Yeah. So essentially you're just following the trend. Would that be kind of fair to say?
Yes, absolutely. Which, it's not that difficult, but you have to just understand what you're looking for, adjust risk appropriately. Like, for example, never take more than, say, 1%, risk on the account.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of calculate what your lot size should be, things like that.
Definitely. And I think that's the key part that you mentioned there. It's all about the risk management. Because I found, there are 101 strategies out there that can give you a decent edge. But if your risk management's not in place, it doesn't matter how good a strategy is. Even if it has an unrealistic 90% win rate, which I've personally never seen, but let's just say hypothetically there is something out there, there's still a chance you can have 5 or 10 losing trades in a row. Statistically, perfectly possible. Might be rare, but it can happen. And if your risk management's not in play,
Yes,
you're out the game at the moment that
absolutely.
happens. So
And hopefully that happens on the challenge stage and not with
sure,
the funded.
absolutely. But yeah, no. So risk management is everything, and and I love seeing how people trade because I've always noticed the more simple you look at the market, the more you try and complicate it, the harder it becomes to trade. A nice simple, your trend's the trend is your friend. Follow the trend, and just be patient. Good risk management, and you're averaging 5% a month. It's almost perfect.
Exactly. So far, yeah. Let's hope that
Sure.
hope that keeps up.
Quick question though. So let's say hypothetically, I know gold recently has been, really nice to trade, but say hypothetically gold, ends up in a really kind of tight range and it's just stuck in a range-bound market. It's not really ever expanding. It's not going anywhere. What do you do then? Do you look to trade something else?
Yes, that's what I would do actually. Yeah, go to the UJ, basically the USD Japanese yen, or different instruments like GPP USD.
Nice. So as long as there's a trend, you're good to trade it essentially.
Right. Or I might need to step out from the current time frames. That's another. Or maybe tighten up. It depends on how things are going. If it's really sideways, you might have to tighten up into the 15-minute instead of. I think right now I'm looking at that, but it could be the 1 hour.
Sure.
To look at the broader trends.
Sure. And is there any kind of particular entry requirement you have? Or is it, is there a candlestick formation? Is there a particular pattern you're looking for? Is there a time of day? Is there any other kind of confluence you would look for before actually entering?
I do, and maybe it's not a very super technical, thing that like maybe some other people might be looking for, but I think I mentioned it has to be in the right time of day, basically, for me to set it and just let it go. But looking for, it has to be one inside the trend, right? It has to be following that. And I'm usually, let me go back to, okay, that's the right one. Looking for a couple of steps up that would follow that trend, followed by a break, kind of a pullback, and then as soon as it comes back up, that's when I would go in.
Gotcha. And
so following the candlesticks there.
Sure. And where would you set your stop loss and take profit? Let's say on this example.
Right. So that would be, so that'd be about a 1% risk on the account. Mm-hmm. So I'd have to just calculate, what that would be in terms of, I think it depends on what the price is at that time, right? So I think it would be taking a 0.8 lot size in this range. Mm-hmm. And so that would end up being about, it's $1,000, like come up with the appropriate pips that you'd have to set.
Gotcha.
Stop loss.
Yeah, absolutely. No, really nice. And what do you kind of target in terms of risk reward? Are you looking for like 2% gain?
1.5, more like a 1.5%. Yeah. So anything over a 1, I would take it. If it's just not continuing to go up, but have to stop at 1 and go for about a 1.5 gain.
Yeah. No, really nice. I mean, I love it. It's so clean, it's so simple, and it works really well for you. So it's awesome. In terms of like risk management, is there any other kind of things you use to kind of, help you, to help keep risk minimum when you're trading?
Just a calculator on the side to come up with the appropriate, lot size and pip stop loss, right? But I don't have it open right now, but
sure.
It's nothing complicated because this is so simple. I don't have to get into, extra, what do you call them, EAs or something to help manage that. It's just a simple calculation.
Absolutely, absolutely. And is there any kind of are you the type of trader where it either hits your stop loss or your take profit? There's no interfering with the trade once it's set.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just let it go.
Nice. Yeah, I love it, Jeff. It's really, really nice. Thank you so much for sharing that. You can
Yeah, you're welcome.
switch your charts off. Awesome.
Sure.
So we spoke a little bit. Actually, no, before we get into the psychology, I'd love to kind of know, is this something you kind of learn on your own? I know you mentioned earlier you were, you kind of studied a bit and whatnot, but was it kind of trial and error, just back testing? You kind of came up with a strategy on your own, or?
Well, I mean, since I'm just following that trend, I don't think that I could really say I came up with it completely on my own, right? It's just other people recommended some simple strategies, and I just tried to follow along with that and come up with, my way to understand the right timing for it, the right entry timing, and plus something that would fit with, my schedule.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And was this kind of the first strategy you kind of implemented? You saw there was an edge and you kind of stuck with it, or did you go through that kind of strategy hopping stage?
Yes, there's definitely the hopping stage, right? This is the first one that was doing well longer term.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'd love to talk a little bit about psychology. Do you feel that, doing your day job that you do and working for, or having worked for, Goldman Sachs, for example, and kind of being within the financial industry, did it help you in terms of becoming a trader now when you saw how other traders, I don't know if you befriended other traders within the company, how you saw, how they treated each individual trade, or how they treated their kind of portfolios, and kind of being detached from the outcome and having that strong psychology and,
Right. Well, unfortunately, I didn't have much exposure to that group while I was there, but no, I think it was mostly just from learning on my own and seeing what other people were doing and how they were approaching things, and just the I guess the style of this set and forget kind of a mentality I wanted to take with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think every trader, when we start, obviously our psychology is all over the place, and it kind of takes, you have to almost be beaten up so many times by the market until it drills it into you, to detach from the outcome and not risk too much, and kind of, be calm when you're trading. Were there any kind of vital moments that you can think about in your career where you're like, oh, okay, that kind of changed it for me?
I can't think of one particular time. I think it's just over the course of trial and error, and finally realizing you don't need to watch it all the time. You don't need to micromanage what's happening. You just need to follow the trends and let it play out. And as long as you've picked a good trend, a good overall strategy, the numbers should play out well.
So you're very, you approach it from a very logical standpoint. You have an edge. Mm-hmm. If you take 100 trades, statistically, you're going to have whatever edge it is, and that will convert into some kind of profit, as long as you don't interfere with the math, essentially, of your strategy. Right.
And I would encourage people to backtest whatever strategy they are going to try to use. That's not always completely accurate, but at least it gives you some comfort going into it to let it play out.
Absolutely. Yeah, data is very important. Like you said, backtesting doesn't guarantee that when you forward test, it's going to have the same results, but it does give you some kind of data to say, okay, well, the likelihood is it might be somewhat similar, and as long as the market doesn't completely change, as long as it's not, I don't know, a huge financial crash or something happens, as long as conditions are somewhat
volatility.
Similar. Yes. But then you should just back off, at least for day trading. If it crashes, there's plenty of other opportunity you can do, but that goes outside of day trading. I'd love to talk a little bit about Hola Prime. So you've been with us since August, I believe. You mentioned you've got yourself a funded account, a 100K account, which is awesome. And as we mentioned, 13K roughly in payouts. How has your overall experience been with Hola Prime so far?
Overall, pretty smooth. I think there was one, I'd call it one hiccup I had along the way with, I guess, understanding some of the, I wouldn't call them consistency rules at the time, but maybe I was not sticking to the risk management level that Ola would have recommended. And
Right.
and I think that was on trading a different instrument, actually. So, but I think after I got through that, everything has been pretty smooth as far as, setting up the accounts and being able to get into the platform, and even the working with support, the payout cycles, things like that. All that is actually really smooth and has been pretty enjoyable, actually.
That's really good to hear. Really, really good to hear. And the big one is obviously payouts. How has your experience been with the payouts? I don't know if you've had multiple payouts, or I think you've had multiple,
yes.
right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, multiple,
yeah. How were they overall? Were they fast, easy to access your money? No hiccups, hopefully.
They were, the first one was slower than expected because I put in the wrong information, I think.
Oh, okay.
I had to work with the support team to get that figured out. But after that, extremely fast. I think within an hour, things were moving, and it would hit. I'm going through RiseWorks as well, so it's everything kind of funnels through there, and that it hits really fast.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I mean that's brilliant. That's we're really happy that you've so far had a really good experience. Obviously, we hope you keep trading with us, keep you as a trader. What's the future for you? I know you work full time, obviously, and you kind of do this on the side, which is awesome. But are you looking at getting more accounts, scaling that capital, go for the big 300 maybe?
Possibly so. I'm kind of happy with where it is at the moment, but yeah, we could look at scaling up. Might probably wait until into the new year before doing that. But the good thing is it's pretty simple to do on the platform to get multiple going. So definitely something I will look into. Absolutely.
I love how calm your persona is. You're not in a rush to get a Lamborghini, for example. Like a lot of traders are.
No, no, it's fine where it is.
Yeah, you're comfortable. You're calm. You're taking it step by step, and I feel that solidifies you as a trader as well. You're less likely to do something silly, put too much risk on one trade because you're trying to hit that big home run. And you just allow those percentages to grow, and slow and steady really does win the race when it comes to trading.
Definitely with this, yes.
Yeah, 100%. It really, really does win the race. So it's awesome to see that discipline that you have. And yeah, I can feel just from talking to you, you're a disciplined guy, which therefore is no surprise you're doing very well with trading, which is awesome. But Jeff, that pretty much wraps up this interview. Once again, thank you so much for coming on, for sharing your charts, your
you're welcome. Thank
story,
you.
your strategy, etc. It's been really awesome talking to you, and hopefully we can connect again in a future date as you get more payouts, more accounts, hopefully, and yeah, it will be awesome.
Absolutely, we're at maybe 500K and 15% later. So.
Exactly, that would be awesome. That would be one hell of a milestone. So definitely going to do that. But Jeff, thank you again so much for coming on. And
thank you, Sam. Appreciate it.
We'll talk soon. Thank you, my friend. And to all the viewers, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy this video, go ahead, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, turn on channel notifications. But also make sure to tune in to Hola Prime TV. We're live every trading day. That's Monday to Friday. We have Forex, futures, and some crypto as well, where you can follow our trading coaches live as we break down the markets, take live trades, and just have a great time on stream. So it's well worth tuning in. But apart from that, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you again very soon. Take care.
Hola Prime, trade with transparency.